The story begins 5 years into the future, where the world is ruled by Superman. Batman continues to watch over Gotham City. 5 years earlier, we learn how events came about that led to Superman ruling the world. We learn that Lois Lane is pregnant with Clark's child. Overjoyed, the two share a kiss. How the Lois goes to a payoff, whilst Clark as Superman goes to find Batman, who is in Metropolis. Superman reveals that Lois is pregnant. However, Batman, of course, has already guessed it. Meanwhile, Lois is kidnapped by the Joker. The day after, Superman finds Jimmy dead and Lois missing. Batman quickly alerts the other Justice League members to help find her. Flash quickly alerts Batman to Scarecrow's death. It's revealed that the Joker has used the fear toxin along with kryptonite to induce fear into the Man of Steel. Lois is then revealed to be a trigger for a nuclear bomb, and as Superman enters space, he realizes he has just killed Lois. A nuclear blast then wipes out most of Metropolis. In the aftermath of the explosion, the heroes rushed to save the lives in Metropolis. Wonder Woman visits Superman, who is still holding Lois's dead body. Superman asks Wonder Woman to keep Lois's body safe. He then rushes to Gotham, and despite Green Lantern trying to talk him down, Superman charges into Gotham prison, taking the Joker's life. Elsewhere, Harley Quinn steals a cop car, but is closely followed by Green Lantern, who saves Harley and takes her to the Arrow Cave. Days later, Superman flies to Bialia after the news reports flood in about the deaths there. Superman kidnaps the president of Bialia and speaks to the world, calling on a worldwide ceasefire. The White House deals with the consequences of Superman's ceasefire and his actions in Bialia. They plan an attack on his parents, hiring Mirror Master to trap them inside a mirror. Wonder Woman reacts to this news, calling on the Justice League and Teen Titans, who head to Keystone, where they attack several of Flash's rogue gallery, demanding to know where Mirror Master is, so Superman can save his parents. Batman confronts the President, who warns him of Superman uniting all of the heroes in the world, possibly to move against them all. Later, Wonder Woman is in the middle of a battlefield where she meets Ares, God of War. Fearing a possible union between Superman and Wonder Woman, Ares attacks her, however, is then attacked by Superman, allowing Wonder Woman to defeat him. Superman then goes visit Bruce in the Batcave, and they begin to talk. Meanwhile, Aquaman attacks a ship, who is killing whales, prompting the Justice League to strike. The following attacks leads to an all-out attack against Atlantis and the Justice League. Meanwhile, Superman accuses Batman of loving the Joker and ignoring his sons in the process, prompting Batman to punch him. They are then alerted to the attack the Justice League faces. Superman heads there. Superman faces Aquaman, who responds by causing a blockade on all landmarks. In retaliation, Superman pulls Atlantis from the depths of the ocean. He also exiles Batman from the Justice League. Flash attempts to deal with the events occurring with the Justice League. as the team are in Australia to in order to disperse a riot occurring in the area. An Australian superhero named Galaxor goes to face them. However, this quickly prompts Wonder Woman and Superman to attack him, which severs the young hero's back. The issue continues with news reports discussing Superman's recent actions. However, the reporters are then attacked by Two-Face, who is about to shoot one of the reporters. Superman burns his coin, revealing he has come for all of Gotham's criminals. Batman and Nightwing then immediately head to Arkham to stop the Justice League. However, Damian allies with the Justice League. Things quickly escalate when Green Arrow brings Harley to Arkham, who then proceeds to quickly break everyone out of their cells. The superheroes attempt to restore order in Arkham. In the ensuing chaos, Damian, in his anger, accidentally murders Nightwing. Catwoman, meanwhile, is stealing from a corrupt businessman until Superman shows up. This leads to Catwoman challenging Superman and temporarily using kryptonite on him. Superman then tells Catwoman that Nightwing is dead. Catwoman, as per Superman's request, goes to Wayne Manor to comfort Batman and Alfred. Batman and Catwoman then go to meet the President, who asks Batman to stop Superman and his team. Batman assembles his team to oppose Superman, whilst meanwhile Shazam attempts to figure out how he feels about what the superheroes are doing. Lex is revealed to be alive in a ruined metropolis, prompting Superman to go save him. Lex reveals he wants to join the Justice League. Meanwhile, Batman's team kidnaps Hawkgirl. Wonder Woman, who is in Madagascar, frees several young women there who are under male oppression, which reverts power to the women in the region. Apocalypse then enters the story as Clark makes a speech about his desire to protect the Earth. Caliban and his strike team then attack the Earth, leading to Superman to take drastic actions to save the lives of Earth. In the aftermath of the apocalypse, and due to the events that have happened, Batman's team then goes to fight Superman. But who will win this major battle between Batman's team and Superman's team? And how will it change the DC universe moving forward? Injustice Gods Among Us takes place before the events in the game do. The title could have been really, really generic. It could have been a simple title about a story telling the events of how Superman became the person he is in the game. And it didn't have to touch on all of the stuff that this comic touches upon. Injustice Gods Among Us is really, really good, and it is essentially a character study on Superman and Batman's relationship, but also it's a character study on the DC universe itself. Tom Taylor, who also does work on Earth 2, I think, or in the New 52, really, really does excellent job at illustrating who these characters are as and where they fit into the DC universe. Superman is a very interesting character in this story. We learn in the comic that the Joker killed Lois Lane and Superman's baby, and he also destroyed Metropolis, and this is what caused Superman to go insane, and a series of events led him down to becoming the darker character that we see in Injustice in the game. And as we see that progression, we really get a good insight into who Superman was and is becoming. And the great thing about a serialized piece like this is that we see him progress to that. There's a part in the comic book where Superman is in before the events of the comic book, and we see him happy, we see him smiling, we see him saving people's lives. And then we compare that to how he is now, and we do actually see that this character has changed. This character has darkened. And we actually see Superman killing the Joker. And everyone is horrified because because it's not done in the way that the Man of Steel killed off General Zod. Because when Superman killed General Zod, he didn't have any choice. If he hadn't killed General Zod, the people that Superman was going to kill, General Zod was going to kill in the movie, would have died, and it would have been on Superman's consciousness. But he wasn't a direct, yes, he indirectly caused that situation to happen, but he didn't directly cause it. Whereas what happens in this comic is he directly kills the Joker, and this starts a chain of events. And to me, I just find that really fascinating. And just, Superman was done really well. And we see the progression of him turning into a villainous type character. Batman is another character that Tom Taylor really centers on. Because the main two characters are Superman and Batman. And Batman is portrayed typically as the hero. As our main protagonist. Batman is really much the same character as he is in any other medium that Batman appears in. He is your typical good guy. And it's really interesting because in this comic, obviously Batman has often suffered through great pain. And he loses one of his Robins or sons. And who we find out in the game is that Damian Wayne actually killed Dick Grayson. And that's not a spoiler because that was shown in the game. When that part of the comic book happens, it was such an interesting sort of thing to see. Because in the comic books, Damian Wayne had always been a character who really looked up to Batman because he is the son of Batman. And although Damian Wayne doesn't act 100% like his comic book, his New 52 counterpart, Batman's relationship to him is very different in this comic book. And I thought that was really, really interesting. The world's finest basically start creating this civil war amongst each other. That's really the best way I can describe Superman and Batman. Is if you've read Civil War, if you've read Marvel Civil War, that's sort of what it's like. Batman is Captain America, and Superman is Iron Man, in a sense. That's the best way I can describe it. And Superman is sort of, and these two are sort of building into this civil war, throughout the story. So, Superman's team consists of Wonder Woman, Damian Wayne, Lex Luthor, and pretty much all of the Justice League type characters. Most notably, you have Wonder Woman. And this is what actually made me start thinking about the whole Superman and Wonder Woman type relationship we're seeing in the New 52. Wonder Woman is a character who actually is manipulating Superman and putting him down this darker path. She's just such an interesting character who is already on that darker path. The one thing that I didn't like about this comic was that I didn't like the way that Lex Luthor was portrayed. Because this is exactly what Lex Luthor always feared. That one day Superman would take over the Earth. But what Tom Taylor sort of does in this story is he makes them friends. And although, yes, that's what we see in the comic book, in the game, rather, I don't think Lex Luthor would have reacted in a friendly manner to Superman. And then you go on to and then you go on to Damian Wayne. Now, Damian Wayne is very different from his comic book New 52 version. As I mentioned in Batman, he and Batman have a very, very antagonistic relationship. And I find that very, very interesting. Personally, on a more personal scale, I like Damian Wayne when he's on Batman's side and looking up to his father. But, this is a different take on the DC Universe, so it's fine. It's not really part of the DC Universe. It's just an Elseworld story. And then you have the Flash. The Flash is actually really, really interesting because he is sort of the character who is sort of very, very realistic. He's sort of afraid of Superman and afraid of what the Justice League are capable of. And I really liked seeing how Flash had this inner conflict brewing. Because we do see that in the game as well. And the inner conflict, I think, made his character interesting. And you then have the rest of the Justice League coming in as well, but none of them really make a big enough impact in the story. But basically, Superman's team are basically, rather than helping on a cosmic scale or a bigger scale than the small-time crimes, they're now going against everyone. Like, your dictators, your corrupt organizations, anyone who has ever victimized a person. A lot of people have often wondered why Superman doesn't do that. And I think, interestingly, in Smallville, that they're also bringing in that question, is why Superman has never imposed his will on other countries and other places in the world. And this comic illustrates exactly why. Because Superman can do it. And because Superman has no idea about politics at all, Superman can only impose his will on others. He can't negotiate properly. So, one of the most interesting things about Batman's team is Green Arrow. I always imagined Green Arrow in the game version to be a character who was sort of this big hero. A person who directly tried to actively stop Superman. And Green Arrow isn't actually. He's not a character who is this big hero. He certainly is a hero in his own right. He's sort of martyred in a way, which I find to be really interesting. And also the relationship between him and Black Canary is really adorable. Green Arrow gets some really nice interaction with Harley Quinn as well. And there's a whole issue devoted to Harley Quinn and Green Arrow. And it's so adorable, and I really liked it. Another interesting and pivotal character is Catwoman, who sort of is Batman's love interest and guide, really. In the game, Catwoman is sort of... It was never really clear what happened between Batman and Catwoman, and I do think the comic does expand on the relationship that Batman and Catwoman have. So, Catwoman is great in the book. Another interesting character that appears is Martian Manhunter. And Tom Taylor does a very interesting idea of comparing the Superman's alien nature and how Superman deals with him being an alien to how Martian Manhunter deals with being an alien. So that was very interesting as well. You also have characters like Atom, Huntress, Batwoman is thrown in, and these smaller scale characters are really just an interesting bunch of characters to pull together. Yeah, and really what Batman's trying to do with this team is they're trying to actively stop Superman from doing what he's doing. The Joker and Harley Quinn really started off this whole Injustice universe. And I really like the direction that Harley Quinn went. Because she doesn't change this into this extreme over-sexualized character. But Tom Taylor changed her enough to show that realistically, she has changed. She's not a complete hero, that her relationship with the Joker was never perfect. And we also see some of the psychologist, the psychologist aspect of Harleen Quinzel, and I really like that. And there's a whole and there's a whole issue completely devoted to Harley Quinn, and it's great. I really like that issue, and it's so unique as well. The Joker, I really liked the characterization of the Joker, and it kind of reminds me of the Nolan Joker as well. The Joker does what he did to Two-Face in Dark Knight to Superman. But with Superman, and the reason why Joker is able to bring Superman down so much, and it's actually a weakness that I think you do find in Superman, is that Superman is a very emotional character. He's a character who lets his feelings and emotions get the better of him. And that's really how Joker manages to bring down Superman to where we see in the game. And I just think that was really interesting. Another key villain was Darkseid. I kind of felt that Darkseid should have been in year 2. I felt that although the stuff with Darkseid was done really well, and the aftermath of what happens with Darkseid is interesting, I felt a bit like Darkseid was just put in just to have an extreme scenario. And it didn't fit with the whole Civil War aspects that the rest of the comic book series is going with. There are a couple of parallels between Superman and the Darkseid type character, and how Superman is becoming a Darkseid level character, or could potentially be. And it plays with all the God-type aspects that Superman has sometimes been portrayed as. In conclusion, this is a really good book. It's a really interesting read, and Volume 1 is now available in trade. I don't know what happened with Volume 2, I don't know if it's out yet, but this book is definitely worth getting. Especially if you love stuff about pre-New 52. And really, it's just such a unique world. And if you definitely love the game, read this book, or read this comic book series, because it adds another dimension to the game. And I just really enjoyed it. And yeah, that's my comic book segment over. If you enjoyed me talking, then please subscribe. I'm gonna sign off. I'm RoboNuts1, and I shall see you all later. Bye.